But as if God knew what I was thinking, the next verses say this: he who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And I was thinking, okay, God, I get it. If I really love my parents, I will proclaim you to them because you are the truth. But it's not just my parents, it's my entire life, the whole Islamic community, all my friends, everything that I've planned, it's all going to go. You know what the next verses say? He who loses his life for my sake will find it. Matthew 10, crazy convicting. So I bowed my knee and I prayed. Well, no one had told me about a sinner's prayer. I've been with David for 4 years. No one told me about a sinner's prayer. But I prayed. I gave my life to Christ in that moment. And so in order to reconcile these two things in Christianity, God does demand payment for every sin, but he signs for that sin himself. He takes that sin upon himself on the cross. And he offers mercy to everyone, because anyone who accepts that death, that substitutionary atonement, they can be with him forever in eternity. That's how Christianity reconciles it. In Islam, it's much more arbitrary. It's much more capricious. If Allah wants to forgive, he can forgive. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to. The successor of Muhammad, according to Sunni Islam, his name is Abu Bakr. He says, even if I have 1 foot in heaven, I would be afraid of the deception of Allah. In other words, Allah could still take him and throw him into hell. Because Allah does whatever he wants, which is a high view of sovereignty, but it does not allow God to be absolute in his mercy and justice. So that's the difference. Does that answer your question? Good, thank you.
God himself, after having created us, knew that we would rebel against him, and indeed, we all rebel against him. And the penalty for separating ourselves from God like that is death. When you sin, you remove yourself from the source of life. When you rebel against God, you're looking at the source of life and saying, I'm walking away from you. And so you incur death for yourself. God enters into this world, dies on our behalf so that we don't have to die and be separated from him. And then he rises from the dead to prove that death has been defeated and to show us what will happen to us. We will rise from the dead one day and be with him. That's the gospel message.